Roger Corman, God rest his soul, is a man who needs no further explanation. And ignoring the fact that he's had such a wild career with his name attached to so many movies, that whether they're good or bad just kind of depends on a coin toss, you can't deny that he's had a hell of an impact on the world of cinema. Now, that being said, I used to work at a video store, like a decade ago. Some of you older subscribers probably already know that, because I'm as old as a prehistoric riverbed, and while I was there were two movies that were constantly catching my eye, but I just never bothered to watch them. Both with Roger Corman's name plastered proudly across the covers. Shark to I don't know why I want to say Shark to Pussy, 007 just kind of ruined my brain, which I'll get to, and Dinoshark, and a decade and a half later, here I am, sitting down to watch what I can only expect is going to be pure cinema. I mean, it's a sci-fi original TV movie. When have those ever been bad? We kick this thing off with standard monster movie fare, thanks to climate change. The glaciers are melting and they're breaking apart, which releases a totally not green screen chunk of ice. I also love how it's like a green screen chunk of ice. It's just plastered on top of real footage of ice. Yeah, alright. And with it, a bunch of spermy looking tadpoles come out of it, which would imply that there was more than one of these Dinosharks roaming around, but only one is ever mentioned or seen. Budget be damned, I guess. Who am I kidding? This movie didn't have a budget. And you know, they must have been really confident with the shark design, because they don't even hype it up. No build up, no mystery, no attempts at suspense. They give you a whole ass slow-mo shot of the Dinoshark in its entirety within like the first less than 5 minutes of the movie. Completely skipped the foreplay, it just got straight to the fucking. Gotta respect it. So then we jump ahead, 3 years later. Our hero, Trace McGraw, a fucking 1800s cowboy ass name if I ever heard one, goddamn, returns to his home of Puerto Vallarta to like, I don't know, do boat tours or some shit, I don't remember. And they kind of introduce like a subplot here about drugs and this dude trying to smuggle them that never actually really goes anywhere. Like, it's legitimately, I think it's briefly mentioned once, again, like an hour into the movie, and then it's dropped entirely. This guy just gets busted crossing the border with like weed, and they don't even show it, they just kind of mention it. So like, this is the only moment this guy's ever on screen. So that's good. And there was something about the audio here that I can't quite nail down as to why it doesn't sound right.
Sit down. Come on, man. What? You're gonna make me go bankrupt. Hola. Pedro, tequila?
So you been busy?
Oh, yeah. It's been good, yeah? Carol, meet my friend, Trace. Captain to the Fortune 500. Trace, meet my friend Carol.
Like, it's clearly ADR, it's dubbed, but it sounds almost too clean and loud to sound natural. You know, it could just be that I'm delusional, but this shit don't sound right, man. And it isn't just this scene, it's like 90% of the movie's audio sounds like this. And after briefly being introduced to some of Trace's friends, whose names I honestly can't remember, one of them decides to go to the beach for a swim. In a shark movie, that was such a stupid decision. It ends exactly how you think it ends. Though there are some quick glimpses of a puppet in here that they use for close-ups every time someone's been eaten, and I'm not gonna lie, kinda wish we saw more of this thing. I don't know, I'm a sucker for practical effects, and sure, the CGI shark doesn't look terrible, but it always just feels like it's pasted into scenes without any forethought. Like this shot where its tail comes out of the water without even so much as a splash, as if it's shifting the very molecular structure of the ocean itself. Like, I just want it to make sense, you know, that's all. And then this movie is one of my favorite tropes that, you know, even some of the big budget movies are guilty of it too. It's when a character who's had maybe 2 minutes of screen time dies, and then we cut to a funeral and all the characters are mourning, as if we, the audience, are supposed to give a crap about this chick's name that I honestly couldn't even remember until I googled the cast list while I was researching this video. And then while this is happening, the shark continues its rampage, leading to one of the best scenes in the entire movie without exaggeration. This dude tosses some chick he's trying to bang into the water, where the shark proceeds to bite her in half.
I do not want to get my bathing suit wet.
No?
No.
What are you waiting for?
The pool deck at the Paradise. There's something down here.
What?
Help!
Oh, come on, Lois. You're not getting off that easy.
No, Steve, help! Help!
Lois!
You don't have a thought behind those eyes, do you? Sweet boy.
Only for the top half to swim up, grab him, and yank him into the water too. Like, god damn, like that chick has been doing upper body workouts her entire life or something, because that's crazy. So the lead chick, whose name is Carol, sorry I had to Google that, decides to do some Googling of her own. Fine Spring. Okay. She discovers the website of a prehistoric researcher named Dr. Reeves, who happens to talk about the very Dinoshark they're trying to find. So it's time to find this doctor. But first, she's gonna take her shirt off for quite literally no reason at all. It's like when you're sitting on the toilet taking a dump, scrolling through TikTok or something, and then you suddenly gotta take your shirt off to lock in because you know something's coming. Like, this confused me so much. I had to go back like 3 times to rewatch it. And no, it's not for the reasons that you're thinking. Like, what happened here? I feel like there was supposed to be more to this scene. Like, it was supposed to cut to her, I don't know, having a shower or going to bed or something, but it doesn't. The very next scene is her and Trace in a boat. The director was literally just like, Kano, take your shirt off. And imagine she was like, We now get introduced to Dr. Reeves, played by none other than the legend himself, Roger Corman. And as you could probably expect, he's about the only person in this entire movie who seems to actually give a genuine performance. But then you get scenes like this.
Amigos, your music is great, but could you hold the volume down just a little bit?
And it just kind of makes me wonder if Corman was even acting, or if he was just kind of there and they just filmed him and threw it in the movie. So at some point, Trace gets into a gunfight with the shark, just in time for the Mexican police to show up and give him shit for it. And despite the fact that a boat full of, more food just showed up, the shark decides to fuck off for no reason to eat some other kayakers way the hell on the other side of the ocean. That'd be like if you were in a restaurant and the waiter brought you a steak, perfectly seasoned, perfectly cooked, right to you, and you're like, nah, I'd rather go in your kitchen and cook it myself. It makes no sense. And so now the Mexican police think Trace is the one killing these people. Meanwhile, the shark is off shape-shifting, defying physics out in the swamps or some shit, because tell me that this shot makes any sense at all. That water can't be even ankle deep. Like, what are we doing, guys? But finally, thanks to the power of teamwork, they managed to corner it.
Is your Dinoshark running with too? Eh?
Oh no. So I forgot to mention Carol, the chick who took her shirt off for no reason, is actually the coach of a high school water polo team who just so happens to be having a match in the marina, and that's where the shark just so happens to be going. I swear to God, you better not be dangling the promise of a beach massacre in front of me like a carrot on a string. You better deliver that. Spoilers. They don't deliver that. So once the shark gets into the marina, it goes for the team, which leads to this great scene where Carol jumps in to save one of her students. So to help them, this guy, Louis, I had to Google his name too, jumps in after them, only for Carol and the girl to make it to the ladder without his help at all, and then the shark eats them. Remember that scene in Kong Skull Island where that guy tried to blow up the skull crawler and ends up dying for no reason? Yeah, it's exactly like that. And this leads us into the finale, where you can tell all the budget went. The shark chases a jet skier, which unironically isn't a bad shot at all. It's the only time it kind of feels like a movie. I don't know, paraglider gets eaten, it's hilarious. Shark attacks a kid's parents. Clearly the kid had a favorite, but it's time to end this rampage once and for all. So despite getting a grenade, point blank to the side of the body, right to the ribcage, Roger Corman said the only weak point was its eyes. So Carol, delivering her Jaws moment, which I'm sure she looks back on fondly.
Welcome to the endangered species list, you bastard.
Harpoons it in the face, only for the camera to zoom in on it, showing us a beautifully untextured shark that kind of looks like an uncooked hot dog. And then the movie ends with the exact same shot it opened with, revealing the worst fate of all. They wanted it to get a sequel. Dear sweet God. Ironically, the other Corman shark movie, Sharktopus, was the one that got a franchise, but we'll get to those later. And that's Dinoshark. It's bad. And it's not even really that it's just bad. It's just that there's so many shark movies that are exactly like this, and almost all of them come from sci-fi. It's just, there's no reason to sit through this. Just type shark movie into Google and just print out an IMDb list of every single movie that has shark in the title, stick it on a wall, throw darts at it, and then pick one at random, and you'd still probably end up with a movie that's basically on the same level as Dinoshark. So I'm so glad I spent an hour and a half watching this.